Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Listen, we are in Donna Adelson trial day 4, and I am exhausted. How have the prosecutors down there in Florida packed so much information into just 4 days of trial? Look, we're going to get into it. But first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share out this madness that I call a YouTube channel. Last night, we got to 25,000 subscribers. Yay! Me and you, we're going to get to 30,000 subscribers together. Okay, picture it. Tallahassee, the courtroom, yesterday. Detective Corbett is on the stand. He's like a police dude. And I was just like, okay, detective, what are you here to tell us? Please tell me every single thing. So he has like a little crew cut or whatever. Real nice salt and pepper. I was like, oh, you look good, Detective Corbett. So nice to see you this morning. And he's just like, okay, shh, girl, listen. So I have Donna's emails, and I was like, emails? You say, honey, tell me every single thing. And then Georgia Kappelman, or was it Sarah Catherine Dugan? Unclear. The prosecutors got up, and they started asking him questions, and he's going through all the emails, and I was like, oh, this is going to be tedious. But it turns out we got some really, really good and fascinating information. Okay, so Donna was not super-duper tech savvy, and she was planning a birthday party for her husband, Harvey Adelson. So she was sending out all the evites or whatever, doing all the things, and she was just like, well, first we see an email from her where she's like, dear friends, I'm very sad because Wendy's relocation motion was denied. I can barely pull myself together. Can I talk to you later? Because this is all really, really bad. Ma'am, you are over involved in your daughter's life. Has anybody told you that? Oh, the unfortunate unaliving was one of the first clues. But anyway, she told all her friends, like, can I talk to you later? Because I'm having a moment because my daughter is having a bad day. It meshed much. Anyway, then he talked about the evites where Donna sent out an invitation to her husband's birthday party, but she referred to Wendy's kids by the Adelson last name instead of by the Markel last name, their given name at that time. Ma'am, that's so bad for you. It's so bad. Then he went on to explain about Luis Rivera's statement. Now, keep in mind, Luis Rivera had been locked up on another charge. And when he came in, he was like, hey, police, hey, listen, I'll tell you every single thing you need to know. And so he told them, yeah, on the trip where Danny was unfortunately unalived, that was the second trip, not the first. And the police were like, oh, there was another trip, you say. Tell us every single thing, because we can use that. We can use your information to corroborate anything you say. That way we know you're not a big fat liar who lies. So he's like, there was a trip in June. Let me tell you all about it. See, we were in the car. We got a car, and Sigfredo was high on cocaine and alcohol. You know, he wasn't like addicted or anything, but he really, really enjoyed the smell of it. And he shot a hole through the floor. And they were like, oh, that seems real stupid. And he's just like, he was real super-duper stupid. What you want from me? I don't know why I'm doing crimes with this dude. And so he was just like, so if you go look for that car and you find it, you can see where he shot the gas line, and then we had to repair it. And wouldn't you know it, the FBI went out and found the car. The car had been painted a different color, and they found a hole in the carpet. Rental place. Y'all don't even sew up that hole, tape it, nothing. They found a hole in the floor, and then a hole through like the metal of the car, and a hole straight through the gas line. Oh, so it shows that he was telling the truth. And so then they looked at all like the phone records or whatever, and they showed the car rental the first time and the second time, and they noticed an interesting pattern. So the hitman would rent the car, and then Katie would call Charlie. Charlie would call the Adelsons, and the calls always went that way. Remember, we talked about the train from the Adelsons to Charlie, Charlie to Katie, Katie to the hitman. That's the way the calls always went, back and forth along these train lines. Here's an interesting thing, though. Once they got the wiretap and they were listening to Charlie's calls, Charlie would be like, hey, listen, can I call you from a landline? Here's the thing. If the FBI has the ability to tap your cell phone, you know they can also tap your landline too. Hey, Charlie, hey, I don't know if you know this. Did you not see The Wire, The Sopranos, nothing like this? They were tapping landlines long before they were ever tapping cell phones. But for whatever reason, Charlie decided that if he talked to somebody on a landline, his phone would not be tapped. Oh, dum-dum. This not going to go good for you. It's just not going to go good for you. Suffice to say, there were a lot of calls between these co-conspirators. They always went along the same route. And Charlie frequently was like, oh, let me call you from a landline, where there's no way that could ever be tapped. Okay. So then after they followed the phone calls, they realized, like, okay, we tracked up to when the hit people went to North Florida. We tracked up to when they were following Danny around, because they could see from the cell phone pings. Oh, okay, they were here, they were there, whatever. They followed him from his house. They followed him to the daycare. They followed him to the gym, and then they followed him back home. We know what happened then. And so immediately on the heels of the unfortunate unaliving, Wendy's cell phone pings show that she was on her way out to lunch. And instead of just going to a local liquor store, there were tons of liquor stores around the place where she went to lunch. She went out of her way to drive past Dan Markel Street so she could peek and see. She's like, I mean, I know there was a rumor of an unfortunate unaliving, but let me just see if I can spy with my little eye. And so she goes and she's like, oh, police tape. Okay. And then she speeds away. Ma'am, you ain't even have to do all that. You could have just relied on your very criminal and stupid brother. But Wendy kind of incriminated herself with her cell phone on. So you see the pings go like, oh, there's a bunch of liquor stores over here. Here's Wendy going way out of her way to drive past Trescott Drive, where Danny Markel was unfortunately unalived. And then she speeds off. Okay. And then the cell phone pings also show us that after the crime, Damp Dollars Donna Adelson, who had washed the money in her washing machine. Y'all, if stupidity was a person, ma'am, that is not how money laundering works. Anyway, Damp Dollars Donna washed the money. The cell phone pings show when she dropped the money off at Charlie's house with clearly no time to dry it. And then her cell phone pings show her going up to Tallahassee so she could be with her daughter Wendy and help her escape. Comfort her. These people are absolutely horrible. Then we get into wiretaps. Y'all, the way I have been waiting for wiretaps. You know I love other people's business. Other people's business is my business. That's my bread and butter. Oh, I love it so much. I also love bread and butter a real lot. Anyway, then the prosecutors got into this little point, but then they sort of abandoned it. And I wish they had stayed with it. They said, when you arrested Donna, and I was like, show the arrest video. That's going to be later. When you arrested Donna, you cell-brighted her phone, which is to say they took all the information out of her phone. And there was a conversation between Wendy and Donna talking about, well, those terrible hitmen did this on their own. And then there was an objection. And I was like, wait, what's the objection? Because I really want to get back to hearing these other people's business. And then they took a lunch break. And I was like, no. Can you please go back to that point? Go back. I want to hear, it was clear that Donna and Wendy were watching the verdict from Charlie's trial in real time. And they had thoughts and feelings, honey. Plenty of thoughts and feelings. The prosecutor was going to bring up their specific thoughts and feelings, but then they decided to let it go. And I was like, no. Anyway. So the court takes a lunch break. I was very disappointed. Also, I took a lunch break. And then we came back. The bump guy was on the stand. You remember the bump guy. The bump guy was the guy who was like pretending to be a gang member, only he was nice. Are gang members typically nice and well-spoken and well-dressed? Unclear. So this FBI agent wearing like a body camera, whatever, walks up to Donna on the street and he's like, hey girl, hey. Oh, I love you, Lily Pulitzer. Anyway, see, my brother Tuto, he's in prison, or Tato, I don't know. He was like, my brother is in jail. And y'all are taking care of Sigfredo and Katie, but my brother has been all left out, so I'm gonna need $5,000 from you. And he shows her a note, and Donna was like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. I completely do not understand. And so he was like, oh, well, this note explains it. And in the note was an article about the unfortunate unaliving of Professor Dan Markel, with a note that said, okay, you have to give me $5,000. Not exactly in those words, but that's the spirit of what the note said. Now, if somebody walked up to me on the street, I don't care how nice they were, I'll be like, no, I don't want none. We don't want none. No habla inglés. Anyway, So Donna takes the paper. Maybe she just didn't want to litter, and she folded it up and she put it in her bag and she walked away. And I was like, okay. I can't imagine me doing those same things under those same circumstances, but I also can't imagine planning a hit on nobody, so maybe don't go by me. And then the bump guy gets cross-examined by Little Boy Blue. Disgraced judge and funeral home proprietor, Jackie Fulford. And she's just like, hey, how you doing? My name is Jackie Fulford for all your funeral needs. You were pretending to be a gang member, you say. How exactly do you do that? How do gang members behave? And he was just like, actually, I was very nice to her. I just talked to her about Luis and Sigfredo. And when he said Luis's name, he said it with the correct inflections and pronunciations and everything else. And Jackie was just like, ooh, your accent is very nice. Are you Spanish or something? And he was just like, I speak fluent Spanish. Ma'am, we are all cringing. What are you doing? Are you hitting on this poppy? You're like, hey, undercover poppy, how you doing? If you happen to shoot somebody up, try Young and Fulford Funeral Services. Anyway, I don't know what she was doing. I was like, ma'am, say less. Say less. So far, in my opinion, disgraced judge and funeral home proprietor Jackie Fulford has not done a great job with this trial. And now, is she flirting with the bump guy? Unclear. She is single, reportedly, allegedly, child. Let me get out of her business. Anyway, although, being in her business is kind of my favorite thing. She was just like, but Donna never paid, right? Right. And he was just like, no, but I did call and, leave threatening phone calls. But the day I met her on the street, I was very nice. My pinkies were out and stuff. That's not a quote. I'm just giving you the spirit of what he said. He was just like, I was real nice to her. I tried to be nice and polite, like light extortion. And she's just like, okay. And then she sat down and I was like, bye, bump guy. Bye, Poppy. Call me. Llámame. Wait, my Spanish is bad. Anyway. So he was just like, then next, the prosecution calls some phone guy to the stand and he's like, we got a whole, in addition to wiretapping the Adelsons, they were recording them in public places, including restaurants and other places where there was lots of background noise. And they had a guy who came up and was like, I took out all the background noise. It was real good. And so they were like, okay, thank you so much. Then they had a guy with really gorgeous hair to get up there and talk about how he was at the Matsuri restaurant and he had like a man purse, a merce that also had like a recording device in it. And he was just like, let me just set my giant recording device right here on this table while y'all are trying to have lunch. And Charlie is like, hey, Dad, it looks like there's an FBI agent over there trying to record us. They got made, which is to say, it was real obvious what they were trying to do. So at that particular recording, they didn't say anything. And then enter FBI agent. I think he's retired now. Pat Sanford. Now listen. Pat Sanford kind of looks like a sleeper agent to me, right? He's just like, looks like any guy you've ever seen on the street. He's soft-spoken. He seems very nice. But y'all, he has the tea. He had all of the tea. He was just like, I was the lead agent. And I gathered all the information about all them people's personal business. And I'm here to tell you every single bit of it. And I was like, ooh, Agent Pat Sanford, tell me every single thing. Now, Pat Sanford has testified in a whole lot of these trials. So we've seen him before. And I was like, let me settle in and get my big cup of tea, child. It's old home week. Pat Sanford gonna tell us every single thing. So he walks us through all the information that they gathered. He talks about Luis's proffer, the shooting of the gun line, and then he was just like, oh yes, and I am here to play you the wiretaps. And I was like, the wiretaps are my favorite part of this whole trial. So he's just like, yes, he was like, yes, we have here. He was real soft-spoken. The wiretaps of Charlie talking to Donna. Y'all. Now, why the state played this particular wiretap, I will never know. But it basically is Charlie being Charlie. And that is to say, a total jerk. He's like, Ma, listen to me. Wendy needs to understand. She's old. She's about to be put out to pasture. She's 37 years old and she has 2 kids. Nobody wants that kind of baggage. Sarah. He was like, listen. If you gave me a 37-year-old Victoria's Secret model, I wouldn't want anything to do with her. Why? When I could have a 25-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 4-year-old. I don't know what point he was trying to make. He just was gross and disgusting. Reportedly, allegedly, the jury was clutching all their pearls like this, Mama Luke. Ugh. And so Charlie just goes on and on and on about how great Dave is. Dave was Wendy's boyfriend, Wendy's boyfriend at the time. Like, no, she should definitely marry Dave. Me and you, we have to get together and get her to hook up with Dave, because nobody's going to want her old wrinkly behind with them 2 kids that are not his kids. You know who would have wanted her when she was old and wrinkly? Her husband, her ex-husband, Danny Markell. Even if she got a divorce, them kids still would have had a daddy. Y'all are terrible. Anyway, then they get into the calls that happen after the bump. So after we have established that Charlie Adelson is utter garbage, he's like, okay, let's talk about these bump calls. And I was like, okay. And he had all kinds of charts and stuff like that. And he was just like, okay, immediately after the bump, the first call that Donna Adelson made was to Charlie Adelson. Not to the police. Because if the police walked up on me, if somebody walked up on me and was trying to extort me, I would be like, no. Hello, police. Can you hear? You're never going to believe what just happened to me. And so she called Charlie. Now, Donna, whose phone was tapped, and who at the time, Charlie assumed his phones were tapped, Donna assumed her phones were tapped. So old Donna is trying to talk in code. She's like, hey, Charlie, hey, somebody gave me some papers, and I think we need to talk about it. He's like, what, Ma? What is it? Charlie's kind of a spaz. Did Charlie also enjoy the smell of cocaine? Because he was a little hyper, and he was just like, Donna was like, so how can I say this? There's some information that was handed to me on the street. And he was like, right. What does it have to do with it? Who's involved? What's going on? Are people out to get us? What's happening? Are we being wiretapped? I think we're being wiretapped. Again, not quotes, but the spirit of what he said. And she was just like, it has to do with the 2 of us. Now, at the time that she was having this phone call with Charlie, I don't know if the piano teacher was coming to the house or she was dropping the kids off or whatever, but she's trying to talk in code. Charlie, who is out in the world wherever he was not at all trying to talk in code. He was like, tell me right now. Tell me what it was. And she was just like, okay, why don't you just come to my house and we can have a face-to-face conversation? He was just like, okay, we can do that. But what about tomorrow? And she's like, Charlie, baby, have a nice day. I'm going to talk to you later. He's like, okay, bye, Ma. Hangs up the phone. 2 seconds later, bring. Hey, Ma, listen. I think Geico can save me 15% or more on my car insurance. Also, who was that call from? The person who gave you the letter. What does it say? Can you take a picture of it and send it to me? And she's like, no, Charlie, don't be an idiot. I'm trying to not talk about this here. And he's like, right. Was it from the IRS? Man, I hope it's not the IRS. Is it the IRS? Are we being sued? Charlie, sir, you are crashing out. Sir, I'm going to need you to take a nice Zanny bar that we learned about yesterday. Also, for those who don't know, a Zanny bar is not a candy bar, although that is a good name for a candy bar. Anyway, I needed him to just like calm down. And I believe Xanax was his drug of choice when it comes to calming down. He had not taken any calm down pills on that day. He's like, it can't be the IRS. Oh man, I hope it's not the IRS. Dang, all that money we laundered. Mom, did you know that laundering money doesn't mean washing it? Okay, wait, was it the IRS? Was it not the IRS? Who else could it be? Is it a Yelp review? Are we being sued? Charlie, sir. Donna was like, no. So why don't you just come by tomorrow? He's like, why not today? What time today? I'm going to get off work late today, but maybe Charlie, shut up. Charlie, bless his heart, failed shut up class. Now listen, I too am a shut up school dropout, so I know a little bit something about that not shutting up life. But Charlie Adelson excelled in I can't shut up. At a certain point, it was just comical. He was like, I hope it's not a Yelp review. Any whack job could write a Yelp review. And then he's like, okay, Mom, I'm going to let you go. Bring. Mom, is it the military? Might it have been the military? Charlie, why would the military be calling you? Do you think you're going to get drafted? Who in the military is interested in Charles Adelson? Aside from maybe studying his blood and stuff to see what sort of narcotics are coursing through his veins. What is happening, Charles? And so he was just like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you later. Bring. Mom, are you being blackmailed? Is that what it is? Are you being blackmailed? Just tell me, blackmail. Do I know blackmail in other Spanish? Male black, y'all, the way Charlie was spazzing all the way out. I was kind of living for it, if you want to know the truth. This case would be hilarious if they had not murdered a man. You're not supposed to do that. I don't know if these people know how laws work and morals and stuff like that. That's very bad. You're not supposed to, unfortunately, unalive people. But clearly, they did not get that memo. So Charlie was like, oh, okay, wait. Maybe is somebody blackmailing you? Obviously, Mom, don't talk in the apartment. Charlie, listen. I know you think that the apartment is bugged, but if you thought this was a gang member, did you think the Latin Kings broke into your mama's house in a high security building at the Icon and bugged her apartment? Especially when everybody spends all their time on their cell phone, you can just bug somebody's cell phone. It is not nearly that complicated. Sir, I'm going to need you to do less narcotics, have more common sense, and be less evil. Oh, too late for that? Okay, so sad. So sorry. Anyway, he was just like, I think we're being blackmailed. What if we're being blackmailed? How much do they want? Oh my God, what's happening? Are we being blackmailed? And Donna says, the two things she says in this series of calls that crazy ass Charlie Adelson makes to her are when he asks, what does it have to do with? And she's like, I think it has to do with the two of us. Donna, ma'am, that sentence alone is going to sink your behind. The other thing she said is, this TV is about 5. Okay. So we have heard about the TV alibi with Best Buy. And so this TV is about 5 clearly indicates that she knows that somebody is trying to get her to give $5,000 or they're going to go to the police. Charlie's like, wait, what? That's crazy. Who would say that? Who would do that? Oh my goodness. Obviously, Mom, don't talk in the apartment. Somebody could have bugged that. Charlie. I mean, I guess now that he's in prison for life, he has time to really contemplate his words and his actions. And if you recall, when they played these calls during Charlie's trial, he's like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. He kind of smiled and laughed at himself. Oh, he has many years to laugh at himself now that he's in prison for life over there in Iowa. He's out west someplace, the Iowa, Idaho region of the United States. He's over there. He's in the West. I went to public school. Y'all know I'm not good at geography. Because during Charlie's trial, he kept saying he was blackmailed by Aladdin King. Okay, point of information. Aladdin King is not a person. What they were trying to say was a Latin king, but not only did they fail shut up school, enunciation not high on their list of priorities. So according to Charlie, Aladdin King made him do all these terrible things, and it's not really his fault. Okay. Well, Aladdin King had thoughts and feelings about him in the Florida system. And you know who's not going to be real popular in the Florida system? Homicidal periodontists. That's not going to go good for you, sir. So they had to move him out west so Aladdin King could not get his behind. Now he gets to be real good friends with all those gentlemen from the Aryan Nation. Good luck, Jewish man. I don't think this going to go good for you. So look. FBI agent and my personal hero, Pat Sanford, is going to be back on the stand today with more wiretaps. The way I love a wiretap. So I will be over there at Crime Junkie Jury. Also, look, the way I love me some Miss Brandy Churchwell. Brandy Churchwell and them Crime Junkie Juror folks. Hey, 13th jurors. I don't know what we are now. We CJJs. I don't know. I'm going to be in chat for Crime Junkie Jury in the morning and then over with EDB in the afternoon. You know I love me some Emily D. Baker. Ooh, and now I'm a member of her channel. I got a gifted membership yesterday. Y'all don't care about none of this, but I'm just telling you. I got a gifted membership yesterday, so now I don't have to wait between my comments. Ooh, she's loquacious. I told you I failed shut up class. I absolutely did. Anyway, so I will be on both of those channels today. And then also tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time zone. Brandy told me 7 p.m. I don't know if that's her time zone or mine. I am doing a live stream collaboration with Miss Brandy Churchwell and Auntie Deb from Jimmy from the Auntie Deb podcast. Now listen. Jimmy went in person to Donna's trial yesterday because he's a big Donna fan. He's team free Donna. It's not that he thinks she's not guilty. Everybody knows she's guilty. Everybody but Donna knows that Donna going to jail. But Jimmy just likes her attitude. He likes that she complained about the thread count of the sheets and the high carb food and her tiny ear canals. He just has an affinity for Miss Donna. Jimmy might need therapy. Anyway, that notwithstanding, y'all, find me today in chat during the trials. Find me tonight on Crime Junkie Jury during a live stream. In the meantime, y'all know what we say. I will see you next crime. Bye.